Good morning. Merry Christmas, everyone. So can I get a thumbs up from you, Samuel, that everything looks okay on your screen? Yes, thank you. Okay, first of all, I would like to explain a little bit about the topic because it may sound a little bit strange, dynamic and static providence. Static means that not moving, and dynamic is moving, as you well know. So what I wanted to say was this, see how I can check. Yeah, that dynamic, it's like a different level. So maybe better would have been to say first level of providence and second level of providence, meaning that the divine messianic power of Jesus, a true Father and true Mother, brings the providence to a completely higher level than our fallen humanity's achievements. So I think you can understand my thoughts about this, why I choose the words. But static could also mean like not moving. But of course, Christianity moved for 2,000 years. There was a lot of movements, a lot of people becoming Christians and following Jesus. So please, you have to have a little bit broad mind to catch this static. Static is not moving, but it's about spiritual levels. So we know for 2,000 years that believing in Jesus was great. He gave us spiritual salvation and opened up for many good people to write books about Jesus and his life and the gospel. And we have, we could say all the democratic Western worlds have a foundation in Christianity. So surely there has been a lot of development. Okay, that said, let's go on. Okay, let's see, page down, there we go. So the first providence, there was only one rule. There was 3 blessings. Adam and Eve do not eat, as we well know, and they didn't follow that. So we need a new providence. Now that was with Jesus, the second providence. Believe in me as the coming Messiah. And the 3 blessings remaining. And the words of Jesus were that your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And you can see here, I repeat some things in my sermons again, because I feel they are the core and the important things to be repeated. So on earth is very important in this phrase. Truly I say to you, said Jesus, whatever you shall bind on earth have been bound in heaven. And whatever you shall loose on earth have been loosed in heaven. And this is a central point in Divine Principles explanation of the mission of Jesus. So actually, when Jesus went to spirit world, he left the keys to Peter, as we know, and he was still on earth. So the importance was the Messiah's presence on earth, because those keys, Peter, he was not spiritually powerful enough to carry on and give the blessing that true parents needed to come to the earth. So down on earth is the requirement, and that's the dividing point between kingdom of heaven and the world we have today. Okay. So I want to sort of compare Jesus' life with true parents' life. And then we see here I have the critical timeline. First Adam and Eve, and then Jesus. And as we know, John the Baptist, he didn't follow completely, and that providence was thwarted and didn't go the way that God intended it to be. So I have the years lined up here. I will not go through them, but I'm sure you're well aware that there was a preparation period before true parents could come, before true father could be born. So here's the first worldwide course in Jesus' time. John the Baptist was the central figure, and he was supposed to unite the people, the Jewish people who respected Zechariah, the priest, and his son, John. But John could not fulfill that role. So then there was doubt on Jesus, who he was. Maybe he was a self-proclaimed Messiah. and John denied that he was Elijah. You know those things. Yeah. So my point here is that there was indemnity needed for Jesus to carry on. And Satan tempted Jesus in the desert, and the foundation of substance was lost. I go quite fast through this because I know that you all know the principle very well, so no need to have a sermon on that. And here comes the crucial point when Jesus went to pray, and you know the disciples fell asleep, and that was not normal. I don't think they had worked hard and were tired. It was some different tiredness. It was a spiritual attack from Satan and the evil world. Just like we know Abraham, he was offering and he didn't cut the doves. And in the Bible it says a deep sleep came on him, and birds descended, symbolic blackbirds descending on him. So there was a spiritual struggle at this time. And Jesus' mission became the mission of the cross, sadly. Okay. So then comes the third course, which is only spiritual, the Jewish people, being replaced by the Christianity. We have martyrs in the Christianity, and we also have martyrs in unification movement, as we know. And the birth of Saint Paul was on his way on the road to Damascus, and Jesus showed himself. Actually, I think he only heard his voice, if I remember correctly. He didn't see him. And then he understood the power of Jesus, and he became Saint Paul. Okay, so then we come to our time, the second coming. That's the third providence. And what's the main word is attendance, to attend and follow true parents, and to witness about them, and to live a good life, living for others. And the three blessings still remaining. So they need to be fulfilled. So this slides you've seen before, I am very happy to show them again, because you can see really the mission of Messiah in a threefold way. The first is to survive, not to die, and to Father. He spoke himself about this. He said that at one point in the 1940s, he saw that he would go the same path as Jesus on the cross. He would be killed if he continued. So he had to find another way. And that was his approach to all the spiritual groups and the Christians in Korea, but they mostly rejected him. So he had to start a new movement. Unification Church. Okay, sorry, that was one way. So the next step, number 2, he had to fulfill the Holy Divine Marriage, 1960. And here it says mission of the Messiahs. If I go back one slide, you can see mission of Christ, Messiah, that is true Father's mission, 1935 to 1945. And then comes the mission of the Messiahs. He married 1944, we know that. That was before he started his mission at the end of World War II, 1945. So here I make a parallel. This is just my thoughts, but I want to share with you still. So if Jesus started his public mission when he was 30 years old, that means that if logic is similar to true Father's life, then Jesus should have married John the Baptist's sister at around the age of 29, 1 year before Jesus started his public mission. It's just a thought I have. I cannot prove it. Anyway, I want to share it. Okay, so then we have the third messianic piece of cake, to give the blessings. This is very important also. That is the foundation of the future. Without the blessings, true parents would just die away, and there would be a history book about their life and their deeds. But with the blessing, we know we have a first generation, second generation, third generation, and so on and so on. It's like a wheel, they start a wheel that is rolling, and nothing can stop. So 1960 was that crucial point for this start of giving the blessings. Yeah. Okay. So I want to read some of True Father's words now. The vision of Shongalguk and our responsibility, the background and proclamation of Foundation Day. 7 years after 1945 brings us to 1952. And that was the first providence the True Father tried to fulfill, but he was rejected. I was responsible to hold the enthronement ceremony for the kingship of God in 1952, to unite the country and to take command of heaven and earth by the time I was 40. And this I spoke about Jesus' potential marriage at 29. However, due to Christianity's opposition, I was unable to do so. I had found spiritual sons and daughters who could be in the position of the bride. This is an interesting point. So it means that he had found already spiritual sons and daughters who could be in that position. Yeah. Okay. Had they united with me, the country would have been united. Instead, the religious leaders drove me out. They drew me out on the same way the religious leaders drove Jesus out. Since there's a principle of indemnity, I had to recover the realm of the united heaven and earth that they cast away when they drove me up into the wilderness. Moreover, by standing in the position of Adam, I had to reverse the failure of the realm of Eve, no matter how much opposition there was. The enthronement ceremony for the kingship of God held on January 13, 2001, symbolized the recovery of Jesus' body at a substantial level and connected it to the spiritual standard. So this is interesting because 2013 is the year we say that Chongelguk started, but actually he emphasized here that this enthronement ceremony for the kingship of God in January 2001, that was like the foundation, really, not the start of the Chongelguk, but the foundation for Chongelguk. It started 13 years before 2013, or 12 years maybe. Okay, so this you have seen before. I'm sorry, I'm stuck with my prophecies and prophets. I love this. I spent a lot of time, many hundreds of hours on finding these and finding the text and what they prophesied and was it fulfilled or not fulfilled like this way. So I sort of treasure this as something very valuable for me, at least, and I want to see that there was a great preparation. It wasn't True Father just popping out and proclaiming, "I'm the Messiah, follow me or believe in me." That would not have been enough. And even True Father himself, he said that if this would just be a man's declaration, it wouldn't go so far. It wouldn't go very far. So if you look at his achievements from 1954, when Unification Church was started, and all the way up to our time when we joined, you could see how the movement spread like a fire all over the world. And it was fulfilling the biblical prophecy of this, as the lightning goes from the east to the west, so it will be at the Son of Man. So this was really fulfilled. God and the Spirit was 100% behind True Father and True Parents, I should say, later. So, yeah. So I think that's the greatest proof, if you really want to sort of challenge this claim. The messianic claims, there are other people who have messianic claims and who had messianic claims at the time of Jesus. Also, the Bible talks about many people were misled by false prophets and messianic claims, but they all drifted away, just like weather passing. So in the long run, only Jesus and True Parents will remain as the correct messiahs. Yeah. Okay, enough of that. So here comes the indemnity again, a repetition. So we can see that for True Father to be born, there had to be a First World War, great conflict, many died and sacrificed themselves, and the democracy won over the totalitarian states. So democracy was a foundation for the Messiah. That was very important. And True Father was born, and you know that there was a movement in Korea for the liberation of Korea from Japanese occupation, just after around the time of the First World War. And then we have the second indemnity, great suffering of mankind, Second World War. And that led up to 1945 when True Father started his public mission. And again, it was a repetition. Jesus was rejected. True Father was rejected by Christianity in Korea. So he had to start all over again after this Hungnam suffering. And Korea was divided, Korean War, and we have the period from 54 to 1960 when finally true parents can be established on the earth. And you see this painting at the bottom, Indemnity 1952-1992. This is a painting by Hung Jinim, who died 1984. So I mean, we have a lot of payments, indemnity payments within our movement also. I know several brothers and sisters who have died in the mission. And one sister in Czechoslovakia, she died in prison. So we should remember them. I think we should remember absolutely the suffering and the people. And also I would add to that the people who left the movement, they did something, they believed, they did a lot of work, they fundraised, they witnessed, and they fought for true parents. And then for some reason, the one or the other, whatever, they couldn't continue. So let's also think about their efforts. It's something spiritual, valuable, and we should remember and not judge and be harsh like this way. It's so easy to simplify things. Providence is very complicated. Okay, let's carry on. And now that brings us up to the time today. So I will not go through the years there, but basically the latest thing in my experience is this Chongqing 1 prayer room that I think it was a building in Chongpyeong in Korea, and in each country there will be this prayer corner, or whatever you want to call it, for this model of the prayer hall and candle. And these pictures are from the Danish church, Unification Church. They made this photo mosaic with true parents and Daemanim and Hungjinim at the bottom and Hyojinim. So that is like a spiritual strong support for true parents. And yeah, that's how they do it in Denmark. Okay, let's see where we are. Yeah, this I showed before also. So we have lots of books. We have Divine Principle, and we have the 3 holy books. That is like a foundation for the future. When True Mother goes to spirit world, it will be her words also, and all her speeches. So already we are on that path, and it's a great future, because we have so many of True Parents' words compared to the Bible. It's only hearsay what the early disciples remember from the time of Jesus. That has been a living gospel for 2,000 years. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing how little foundation for Jesus as the Messiah, and then it could develop into this world Christianity. And we have something totally different here: videos, audio, and so many books and words. Yeah. Even a lot is not translated yet from Korean as we know. So surely there will come more in the future. Okay, so this is a short summary of this providential, dynamic, and static. And I think you got the idea now that the dynamic part is when Jesus was on earth, and people could have accepted him, but they didn't. And the dynamic in our time is when true parents were on earth and laid a foundation. And True Mother is, thankfully, she's still here, so we can continue this foundation. Yeah. You see the 2 years here, 1948. So that is very interesting also. I mentioned this many times before. 1948, Israel became a state, and that was sort of ending of the diaspora. The Jewish people were spread all over the world after, I think it was 70 AD until 1948. And then Israel was established as a country. And 1948 also Korea, South Korea, or actually Korea, I said this was before the war. So Korea was established as one country. And at that time, it wasn't clear how how the future of the country would be. I think the Soviet had some claim on Korea and also the US. So that was a sort of, you could see like the Korean War was a continuation of the Second World War, the only continuation. And that's spiritually very profound also. So it shows that something wasn't fulfilled after 1945. The unification of Korea should have happened around True Father that time, his first Providence, 1945, 1952. So it's interesting that those years are the same, 1948, 1948. And True Father commented on this, that it was not like just like random happening. It was providentially the payment, the indemnity payment was fulfilled, and that was the start of both countries. There's a lot to say here, a lot of years to go through, but I will not take your precious time, Christmas time. So I'll end with this focus on new heavenly unified Korea. That is where we are now, and let's hope a miracle happens. There's so many Zoom meetings now about around these UPF meetings, think tanks, and all sort of intelligent people are thinking about how could Korea be unified, and I think no one has a clear answer. And we have True Father's words that the unification of Korea is a unification of mankind. And we could even see ourselves, we are doing this 100K. So the other day we had 100K and we discussed this 38th parallel in Korea. It's dividing Korea into north and south. But inside ourselves, as fallen people, we also have a 38th parallel between our mind and body. True Father spoke so many times about this. So that is like the 38th parallel inside of us. And it will be affected then according to True Father's word. When Korea is united, we will be spiritually uplifted. Okay, I have something more for you here. I hope you don't laugh at this. This is the cat of our youngest daughter, Anna Maria. She loved to be in Christmas trees, and she wishes you all a Merry Christmas. And one more. The other day I was sitting in the kitchen. I looked out, we have some birds here. I'm feeding some birds, and I enjoy that very much. Suddenly this creature, this is not my photos, but anyway, it was this animal came into our garden. Can you imagine? A white carpe in Finnish. And it's so beautiful. It was so beautiful. I was just staring and I was calling Mari to come and have a look. Amazing. I never seen it. I'm 71 now. I've never seen it in my life until this happened couple of weeks ago. Yeah. So yeah, there are no more slides, and I guess that's it. I can mention something for you I saw yesterday. I want to share this because it's so beautiful. I was thinking about maybe I would run a video, but I will not do it. You can look at yourself. If you Google for Amira, A-M-I-R-A, it's a name. We all have this, Finland has talent, and UK has got talent, all this got talent. So in Holland also they have this TV program, and there's a young girl, she's 9 years old. So if you Google for Amira 2013, 2013, A-M-I-R-A. I was so amazed. I think I looked at this 10, 15 times, and I'm so amazed because this is how God can, he can do with mankind when we have the capacity. Please don't miss Amira 2030. And think about God's creation, man and woman. Thank you. Please join me in prayer. Thank you for attendance. Dearest Heavenly Parent, we are so grateful that we can gather this way, and it's a miracle with all the technique, the technical things behind this, and the team, the MCs, and I so much appreciate we can have Sunday service this way. It's an amazing way, and I encourage more people to give Sunday service. I know Josef has put up an Excel sheet online that you can add your name, and please don't hesitate, don't be brave, and don't think that everything has to be perfect. I prepare as best as I can, and I'm happy with that. So I think you should be also, and I really encourage more brothers and sisters to share sermons. It's a great way to develop yourself also. So I thank you for this Sunday and the sharing, and I pray for the coming new year 2022. Let it be blessed and prosperous, and we have a big celebration, 50-year celebration in the Finnish unification community. So let's focus on that also and have a great experience. I pray for your protection and your blessing upon all us here in the Finnish community. This I pray now in our precious names as blessed central families. Adieu. Stop share. Over to you, Samuel. Thank you.